I'm Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. In this video, I will show you how easy it is to make custom zippers of any length in a variety of styles: single slide, double slide, multiple slide, and luggage style. One wonderful benefit of making your own zippers is that you can make the zippers just the right length for your project. No more wasted zipper tape. You also have the flexibility of attaching the zipper slides in a variety of ways. For instance, you can attach just one slide to make a single slide zipper, or you can add extra slides for pockets with more than one section. Having a slide on each section allows you to open each part independently, keeping the contents of all your pockets safe and secure. You can also make double slide luggage style zippers, which are perfect for purses and bags. This style of zipper enables you to open your bag from the center out and to open each side independently for easy access to the bag. It also enables you to keep the bag partially closed on one or both sides. All of our handbag zippers are number 4.5 nylon coil YKK zippers with extra wide zipper tape and extra large slides. These features make assembly and installation extra easy. For most of this demonstration, I will be working with ByAnnie's Zippers by the Yard. This handy product includes 4 yards of zipper chain and 16 color-coordinated slides. So you can use Zippers by the Yard to make 16 9-inch zippers, one 144-inch zipper, or any number of sizes and styles in between. One of the best features of ByAnnie's Zippers by the Yard is that there are no stops on the ends, and each end has about 3/4 of an inch of fabric before the teeth start. Having that extra fabric on the end makes a big difference when you attach the slides, which you'll see as we proceed. There are some special advantages to using Zippers by the Yard, but I'll also show you how to customize other sizes of zippers too, such as our 24-inch single slide or our 30 and 40-inch double slide zippers. Let's get started. There are 5 simple steps to making your own zippers. Mark lengths, attach slides, move the desired number of slides into each marked section, stitch to create zipper stops, and cut on the marked lines. The first step is to mark the lengths needed on the zipper tape. I always prefer to do this first, as it's so much easier to mark lengths with a ruler when there are no zipper slides in the way. Because the extra fabric at the end of the zipper tape makes attaching zipper slides so much easier, especially if you are making a luggage style zipper, you are going to want to preserve one of the fabric ends of the tape until you've made all your zippers. So here's an important tip. Do all your marking and cutting from one end and attach your zipper slides from the other end. If you establish that habit, you'll always have the luxury of using the fabric end for attaching slides, and you won't have to deal with attaching slides to a cut end. Since this is a brand new piece of Zippers by the Yard, both of my ends have fabric before the teeth start, so I can mark from either end. However, once I've cut zippers off the tape, one of these ends will be cut. So the next time I grab this piece of zipper tape, I want to be sure I mark from the cut end, not the fabric end. This will all make more sense soon. For this demonstration, let's assume that we're making a purse that requires 3 zippers. One 15-inch single slide zipper for an outer pocket, one 15-inch zipper with 2 slides for an inner divided pocket, and one 28-inch double slide luggage style zipper to close the bag. We'll begin by marking the first length needed, in this case 15 inches on the tape, being careful to measure from the end of the teeth, not the end of the tape. So I'm going to get my ruler. I'm going to align the 15-inch line right at the end of the teeth, right here, not at the end of the tape, and then I will mark a line across the zipper tape at that point. I like to use a pencil when I do this so that I've got a line that's going to be easy to see. It doesn't have to be something removable because when we cut our zippers apart, we're going to cut on that line, so it will disappear. Then we're going to mark each succeeding line, measuring from the previous line. So we'll mark another line 15 inches away. So we'll align our 15-inch mark on our marked line, and we'll mark a line across the tape. And then we're going to mark a line 28 inches away from there. So to do that, I have to move my ruler once, so we're going to go, there's 24, and that's right there, and then I'll scoop my line down to 4 inches and I'll mark right across there. So there's my 28 inch. I've got two 15 inches and a 28 inch one marked. Keep in mind that you can also use our other sizes of handbag zippers to make the lengths you need. For instance, you could use a 30-inch double slide zipper to make the two 15-inch zippers needed for the project. To do that, move both of the zipper slides to one end to get them out of the way. Then mark from the other end, this time making sure that you're measuring from the outside of the stop at the end, again, not the end of the tape. So you'll align your 15-inch mark at the outside of the stop and mark across your tape, and you've got your two 15-inch zippers marked and ready to go. Step 2 is to attach the zipper slides. Before we start, let's take a quick look at a zipper slide. If you look at it from the back, you will see that there is a flat end and a rounded end. The rounded end has two channels, one on each side, and the flat end has just one. As you can see on this zipper, if you move the slide toward the flat end of the zipper opens because the rounded end is separating the teeth. If you move the slide toward the rounded end, it closes because the flat end is mashing the teeth together. I'm going to show you two different ways to attach the zipper slides, and we'll talk about when and why to use each method. The first method involves attaching the zipper slide from the rounded end of the slide. This is the method that I use when making a single slide zipper. I like attaching from the rounded end because it keeps my zipper tape closed, which makes it easier to stitch and cut in the next steps. This is also the best way to attach a zipper slide to zipper tape that has been cut. I'll show you how to use this method to attach slides to cut tape in a bit, but for now we're going to concentrate on attaching slides to the zippers by the yard tape. Here's an important tip. Don't forget that we are attaching the zipper slides from the other end of the tape from where we marked, and then we're going to move them down into the marked end. This means that we need to attach the slides in the order that they were marked. So our first step will be to attach a slide for the first zipper that we marked on the tape, which was the 15-inch single slide zipper. First, make sure that your zipper tape is right side up. This is where you see the teeth. The teeth aren't visible on the wrong side. And again, make sure you're working on the unmarked end. Remember, mark and cut from that end, attach slides from this end. Because the rounded end of the zipper slide has two channels, we need to first separate the zipper tape so that we have two pieces, one for each channel on the slide. So just pull the zipper tape apart to separate it. Don't be shy about this. It's easier to work with a few inches of tape than just a little bit. Now we will insert one side of the tape into each side of the slide. Insert the left side of the tape into the channel on the left. Then insert the right side of the tape into the channel on the right. Make sure that the tape is nice and even at the top, then hold on to the tape with one hand and use your other hand to pull down on the slide. And your first zipper slide is attached. It's very similar to closing the zipper on a jacket. Easy peasy, huh? The next zipper we marked was for a 15-inch multi-slide zipper. We're using it for a divided pocket, so we want it to have two slides, one for each section. And we want the slides to both be to the left when the pocket is closed. So we'll attach each of those slides from the rounded end so they slide in the same direction, just as we did for our first zipper. So we'll pull our zipper tape apart. We'll pull on a slide from the left, insert the tape from the right, hold on to the tape, and pull down on our slide. We'll do the same thing to attach the next slide. Okay, we've got our zipper slides attached for the two 15-inch zippers, and now it's time to learn something new. For the last zipper, which was marked at 28 inches, we want two slides, but rather than having them go the same direction, we want to attach them in a luggage style configuration. On a luggage style zipper, the rounded ends kiss in the middle. This enables us to open the bag out toward either side and to close it toward the middle. When I started making my own zippers, I thought that zipper slides could only be attached from the rounded end. So in order to make a luggage style zipper, I had to pull on one slide from each end in order to get the rounded ends to kiss in the middle. Well, it was really easy to make the first zipper from a new piece of Zippers by the Yard in this manner because my new piece of Zippers by the Yard had fabric on each end without teeth. But once I'd made one zipper, it would be necessary to cut the zipper tape in order to attach the next slide in the proper place, and then I'd no longer have the luxury of that extra 3/4 inch of fabric without teeth at the end. It's certainly very doable to attach a slide straight onto cut tape, and I'll show you how to do that soon. But for now, let's focus on the benefits of using Zippers by the Yard tape as I show you the second method of attaching zipper slides. We call this Casey's method. My son Casey watched me demonstrating how to attach zipper slides one day and heard me say, "You have to put the slides on from the rounded end. You can't put them on from the flat end." Well, like many of us, Casey doesn't just accept that you have to do something only one way, so he promptly set out to see if that was true. And lucky for us, in the process, he discovered a method that makes things extra easy and involves putting some of the slides on from the flat end. Leave it to a guy. Please keep in mind that his method really only works with Zippers by the Yard. You have to have the extra tape without teeth at the end to make it easy. Here's how Casey's method works. For this zipper, we're going to start by attaching the slide beginning with the flat end, the one with just one opening. Because there's just one opening, we want to have just one piece of zipper tape, so we are not going to pull the tape apart until the slide is in place. And while that doesn't seem like a big deal, the beauty of this method is that it allows us to attach the slide to closed zipper tape from the top end, and when we're done, the rounded end of the slide is going to be at the top. In order to make sure that your finished zipper doesn't have bubbles in the tape, you want to make sure that the tape is nice and even at the top before you start attaching the slides. So if your tape has gotten a bit wonky as you put on the other slides and it isn't aligned evenly, I'd suggest that you separate the tape and attach a slide from the rounded end just as we did before, making sure to align the ends before you pull down on the slide. You can always just remove that slide later when you cut apart the zippers. Our tape looks fine, so we don't need to mess with that now. So we're going to slide the next slide onto the top end of the zipper tape, beginning with the flat end of the slide and making sure that the zipper tape is completely closed and aligned really evenly at the top. I find it easiest to do this if I hold the tape together at the top and then slide the tape into the opening on the flat end of the slide. Then just let the slide drop onto the tape. It will stop when it hits the teeth. In fact, you will notice that I could pull on this slide all day and it's not going anywhere. Can you see why I thought it wouldn't work to attach a slide from the flat end? Well, Casey figured out that once you get the slide to this point, all you have to do is put one hand here, give a little pull on the tape to separate it, and voila. Our next slide with the rounded end up or toward the middle is attached. Isn't that easy? And now our zipper tape is separated and in perfect position for attaching the next slide from the rounded end, which is exactly what we want for a luggage style zipper where the rounded ends kiss in the middle. Just as before, slide one side of the tape into each side of the slide. Then make sure that the tape is lined up just as it was on the previous slide and pull down on the zipper slide. You've got a perfect double slide luggage style zipper. Because we carefully lined up the zipper tape the same as we attached each slide, the slides fit together perfectly and we don't have any bubbles or lumps in the tape. Isn't that awesome? And that's how easy it is to make a double slide luggage style zipper using Zippers by the Yard. But what if you're using leftover zipper tape from another project? Or what if you forgot about cutting from one end and attaching pulls from the other end, and now you've cut both ends of the zipper tape? Now what? Let's talk next about how to attach a zipper slide to cut zipper tape. You may have started with a 24-inch single slide zipper, but only used 15 inches of it. You've got 9 inches left, which is perfect for your next project, but it needs a slide. Or you used a 30-inch double slide zipper to make two 15-inch zippers, but on one of them you want to have 2 slides for a divided pocket. Here's what you need to know about attaching the slides. First and most important, attach the zipper slide from the rounded end, as we did in the first method I showed you. Because the rounded end has 2 openings, you will need to separate the zipper tape so that you have 2 pieces. Pull it apart a few inches. Slide the left side of the tape into the left channel of the slide. Slide the right side of the tape into the right channel of the slide. Don't go too far into the slide. I like to go about halfway. Now you're going to see what's different about attaching a slide to cut zipper tape compared to zippers by the yard. Remember how the zippers by the yard tape had the extra fabric at the top, which enabled us to hold the tape and use our other hand to pull down on the slide? Well, cut tape doesn't give you that luxury. I've got one hand holding this side of the tape, the other hand holding this side of the tape. I don't have a third hand to pull down on the slide. If I was demonstrating this to you in person, I'd just turn to you and say, "Can you pull down on the slide?" And if you're working at home and have someone close at hand, that's really a great option, especially when you're first learning to do this. But what happens if you're home alone? Or you're up on a stage demonstrating with no one else around, as I was a year or 2 ago? Yep, I used my teeth. And when I finished with that demo, a nice lady came up and said, "I'm a dentist. Your teeth are not meant to pull on zipper slides. Stop that. If you have to get that fixed, it'll cost you $1,000. Well, I can think of way better ways to spend $1,000 than sitting in a dentist chair, and I'm so glad she said it to me because I went home and started to practice. And I discovered that if I only slide the zipper tape part way into the slides, once I get it to that stage, all I have to do is take this finger and give the slide a little tap or two, which engages it with the teeth and locks it in place. Then I can grab the end, give it a pull, and my zipper slide is attached. It really is easy once you get the hang of it. Now, what if you want to make a double slide luggage style zipper using the cut tape? In that case, make sure that you attach the second zipper slide so that the rounded ends will kiss in the middle. This means you have to attach the zipper slide from the end where the rounded end is. So it's going to depend on how you've made your tape. On this one, which we cut off of a double slide zipper, our rounded end is at the top. So we're going to cut this off and attach this slide on this end. On this one, where I had leftover zipper tape without a slide, I added a slide, and now my open end and my round end is on this end. So on this one, I'm actually going to have to cut across the tape to remove the slide so that I can attach the slide on this end. To ensure that you don't get a bubble in the tape, here are some tips. We're going to work on this zipper. First, I'm going to cut across the tape before I start, so that I make sure my ends are nice and even. This will help eliminate bubbles in the tape if the teeth don't line up perfectly. I also like to anchor the end of the zipper against the table so I can pull the tape nice and tight. Then when I attach the slide, I'm going to make sure that those ends are even before I pull down. So I'm going to slide one side in. Again, I'm using my rounded end because I have 2 pieces of zipper tape. I'll pull my other slide in, and then I want to pull it nice and taut before I give that slide that little push, and then I can pull down on it. I'm not going to have any wrinkles and bubbles in there because they were nice and tight when I started. Okay, our links are marked and our slides are attached. You've learned how to attach slides on zipper tape with fabric at the ends as well as on cut zipper tape. And you've learned to attach the slides from either the rounded end or the flat end and in luggage style configurations. Step 3 is to move the slides into the marked sections of the zipper tape. Start by moving one slide into the first marked 15-inch section of the tape, all the way at the other end. This will make our first 15-inch single slide zipper. There we go. Then we'll move the next 2 slides into the next 15-inch section. This will make the 15-inch zipper with 2 slides going the same direction, which we'll use for the divided pocket. Finally, we'll move the last 2 slides into the 28-inch mark section to make the 28-inch double slide luggage style zipper. If you had to attach an extra slide to even up your ends, you'll pull it down first and then we'll get rid of it when we cut the zippers apart. One more tip. Remember this 30-inch zipper that we marked to make 2 15-inch zippers? Note that because this is a luggage style zipper, the zipper's going to separate when you move a slide into each section. But no worries, I'll show you how to deal with that in the next step. For now, just get a slide moved into each section. Once our zipper slides are moved into the various sections, we have just a couple more quick steps before our zippers are ready to go. Step 4 is to create zipper stops on the zipper tape to prevent the slides from coming off once we cut them apart. We'll stitch 1/8 of an inch to each side of the marked lines and on the end. Go slowly when you go over the teeth. Just a single line of stitching will stop the slides from coming off if we happen to move the slide all the way to the end. On the 30-inch luggage style zipper, which we're cutting, the zipper is separated, so just hold the tape together and stitch through it. If you want a little bit more stability at the end, you can always back stitch across the teeth or stitch through everything twice. Our last step, step 5, is to cut on the marked lines to create the zippers needed for the project. I usually use my rotary cutter and just go right on the marked line in between my 2 stitching lines, but you can use scissors too. Either one works. All right, wasn't that easy? We've got the 3 zippers needed for our project ready to go. And we still have zipper tape and slides left for another project. Just pop these into a bag and they'll be ready to go the next time you need a parrot blue zipper. So there you have it. You've learned to make your own zippers in a variety of lengths and styles. Single slide, double slide, multiple slide, and luggage style. Just follow the 5 steps. Mark lengths, attach slides, move slides, create stops, and cut apart. Wasn't it fun to see how easy it is to attach the slides and to make perfect double slide luggage style zippers? Remember that ByAnnie's handbag zippers are available in up to 48 colors and a variety of sizes and styles. You'll find a color card at our website and in our current catalog. Our zippers by the yard are available in 32 fun colors with color-coordinated slides. We also have black and white tape with multicolored slides. And to make things really interesting, keep in mind that you can mix and match colors of slides as well as colors of zipper tape, as we did for these zippers that we made using red and yellow tapes and orange slides. We know you'll enjoy making zippers of any length and style for your projects too. Ask for ByAnnie's handbag zippers at your local quilt shop or find them at ByAnnie.com. We can't wait to see how you use our zippers, so be sure to share pictures of your finished projects with us. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube by using @PatternsByAnnie. And if you liked this video, please click on the like button below to give us some feedback. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button too, so you're sure to know when we post new videos. Thank you so much for watching. Happy stitching!